Hello. With the new API from System.io, it is now possible to do gamification, with each contact has a score, and as his score increases, then he gets new ranks. So how to set it up with System.io and the API? You see, here you have two parts. One is System.io, and one is an external tool. You need to either use Zapier or Public Connect or your own PHP script, a code to handle the score and also the ranks. But the core is inside System.io. So we will see for this, we have three parts in System.io, which are the custom fields, which are custom fields for each contact. So here you would create a custom field named score, which will hold the score of the contact. Then with the tags. In order to increase or decrease the score of each contact, we will use tags. So you need to create tags for each action you want to do. Score 0, it's just to set up the score at 0. So we will put 0 into the custom field score for this contact. Then you have score plus 1 or score plus 5, score plus 10. Those tags, they will be added, for instance, in a System.io as a rule. For instance, if you can create rules, automation rules in System.io. So if, for instance, you send a newsletter to all your contacts, you can set up a rule that says if the contact has clicked on the link inside the newsletter, then give this contact the tag score plus 5. So everyone who will click on the link in the newsletter will get 5 points in their score. So that's how you will do it. But just adding a tag will not change the custom field value. So that's how we trigger this action of adding 5 points to a score. We trigger it in System.io inside with a tag we want. And then you have the tag for the ranks: bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. Then you have a workflow. So that's some rules that start with, for instance, the workflow which will be called score plus 5. The trigger is when the tag score plus 5 is added to a contact. So the tag will be added by another rule inside System.io, but this workflow will trigger when the tag is added. So when it is added, we call a webhook, and then we remove the tag score plus 5. So in effect, when you add the tag score plus 5, immediately it will be removed from this contact after having called a webhook. And the webhook, of course, is the external application that you will use, a PHP script that you have done yourself, or with Zapier or Public Connect, you can create a workflow in those tools that starts with the trigger webhook. So you will have a webhook URL, and that's this URL that you call here when I say call webhook. And also you can have a workflow for each rank. For instance, for gold, when the gold tag has been added, then do something. For instance, when a contact becomes a gold contact, then you can do something like sending an email. In this email, you will have a gift, a link to a gift for this contact. So this email will be sent only when this contact gets the tag gold. And then now we can go to the external tool. So it doesn't matter which one you use. You will use the System.io API for this. So here I just show an example of one. For instance, for adding 5 to the score. So this, let's say, this workflow or this PHP script will be called when, by this workflow, the score plus 1, the workflow inside System.io. When I say call webhook, that's this specific one that will be called for this workflow, because we want to add 5. So what is the logic inside? Simply, when this webhook is called, System.io sends contact ID, so we know which contact has this score plus 5 tag. So with this contact ID, we can call System.io API and we can update the custom field score. So for this, first, when we get the webhook information, we have the contact ID, we have also all the custom fields. So inside we have the score custom field. So we can just add a 5 to this score value, and then we can update with the API, we can update the score custom field of this contact. So now he has 5 more points. And then we can check if this new score is equals or superior to a value, and this contact doesn't yet have the bronze tag, let's say for the first tag. If this contact doesn't have the bronze tag, we know that because in the webhook, as I said, we get the contact ID, the custom fields, also all the tags and other information about this contact. So we get all the information that we have in our System.io about this contact. So we know. So here, say if the score is more than a value and this contact doesn't yet have this tag, then we add the bronze tag to contact. And same for the silver tag, then the gold tag, and the platinum tag. So in this webhook, we can have everything. We add 5 to the score, and then we check if this new score is more than a threshold. So in this case, let's say an example, contact suddenly gets the bronze tag. Okay, it's added. But then in the workflow of System.io, this contact gets a new tag, the bronze tag. So we have a workflow for this, and we'll do something like send an email or give access to a training or everything we can do in System.io. So that's how it works for gamification. You can have, then after you can think about in System.io, what are all the triggers? Okay, clicking on a link in a newsletter, but you have also other things like buying a product. You know, everything you can set as a trigger in a workflow or automation rules, a bit of the same, huh? But all the triggers can mean that this contact has some activity inside your system. So each time they do something, you can add a tag, +1, +5, +10, depending on what they do. If they buy a product, they can have 10 more points. If they just click on a link, then just 1 more point. And then you create a lot of trigger and things to do in your system, and then their score will get higher and higher. The score that is in their custom field. And then as a result, their score increasing, then they will get several tags of ranks, bronze, silver, gold, platinum. Then with those tags, you can then, for instance, send a newsletter one day only to the gold contact to offer them something special. You will know that all contacts who have the gold tag, of course, they also have the silver and the bronze because we never remove those tags. But all the contacts with the gold tags, they have a lot of score, either because they bought product or they are clicking a lot on your links, on your newsletters. So they are very active members, subscribers. So that's how you can do it. I can show you a few things, like in contact, when I talk about custom fields, is here, for instance, you have a score, info, free, those are custom fields. And then you have the standard default fields, but you can add. You just have to click here, add new custom field. When you are in a contact profile, you add a new custom field, it will be available for all contacts, and even in the future. So that's where you add new custom field. Then you have the tags. I mean, in the menu contacts tags, you simply create new tags and you give them a name. And then in the workflow builder of System.io, I show you an example of score +1. The trigger is simply when the tag score +1 has been added to a contact, then send a webhook to this URL, and then remove the score +1 tag. So the tags score +1, score +3, they will never stay very long in a contact. Just to trigger an action, trigger a webhook. And then I can show you an example of a webhook, but it doesn't matter because you could do in many tools. So I use PageConnect, but I will probably use also a PHP code. And you create a workflow in those tools, and the trigger is a webhook. So they give you a URL, and then you can process things like I explained earlier. Add 1 to the score, then do some checks to see if the score warrants a new rank. So give them this tag if they have it. Otherwise, update the contacts information with the API, and that's it. And the system will work fine. Then after, it's up to you to create the reasons why the contacts will get points in your system. You manage those rules. So for instance, I can do it in a workflow, but let's say he clicked on a link. Clicked on a link. Here you see you can have, I mean, in a workflow, you don't have to do one workflow for everything, for each little things. I mean, for instance, here you have all this can happen. So when someone completed the campaign, then he can get points because he arrived, he didn't unsubscribe, or the campaign is finished, register to a webinar, enroll in a course, new sale, email link clicked, just a visit on a page is enough to get a point. So let's say you click on you want to click on an email. You select your email, okay, create, and then here on the right you can have more trigger. So you can say again, click on a link for another email. See, so you will have 2 trigger, 3. You can add as many as you want. So it means you have only one workflow. When you create a new newsletter or anything, you can just add it here. You don't have to redo all the rest. What is the rest? But here it will be just action and add a tag, apply a tag. I will let's say I give them 1 point. So score 1, create 1, and that's it. All you need to do. If this happens, then you apply the tag, and the rest will be done. So don't forget, just a reminder, when you exit here, the workflow is not active. You need to activate it so that it works, you know. So when you click on the link, the tag score +1 will be given. So it means that this workflow will be triggered because the score +1 tag has been given. So it will call the webhook and remove the score +1 tag. And this webhook will add to the custom field 1 point, and then check if now he has a new rank. If so, it gives him a new tag. And the new tag in System.io will trigger an action, sending an email, giving him access to a course. You know, so that's how it works. So thank you for your attention. And if you have a question, you can ask me. Bye-bye.
Check your inbox every day. You got that email. It's time to play. Points are calling, ranks are rising high. In this game, you never say goodbye. Score points, climb up the ranks. Email subscribers, it's time.